Give a language model the bibliography of a paper, just the reference list, as it stood before the paper was published, and ask it to state that paper's central idea. Not summarize it, recover it from the citations alone. A benchmark released this month does exactly that, across 643 papers in 6 scientific domains, and grades the answer with an independent model judge against the real, held-out idea. 7 frontier models were run through it. The headline result is a range, and the range is low, 3 to 15%. Before deciding what that means, it is worth being precise about what the test actually prevents. The obvious failure mode for a benchmark like this is that the model has already read the paper. The design spends most of its effort on that, with 3 protections. First, a temporal citation cutoff. The bibliography is frozen at its pre-publication state, so nothing contemporaneous or later is visible. Second, anonymous reference identifiers, which strip author names and titles out of the prompt, so the model cannot recognize the group or look the work up from memory. Third, the seed paper itself is withheld entirely, along with all downstream literature. What is left is a genuinely blind task. The model sees only what the authors had on their desk before they wrote anything, and has to propose the hypothesis they went on to test. That framing matters, because it converts a retrieval question into a reasoning question. Success by recall is designed out. So 3 to 15%. The spread there is across domains, and that is the more interesting fact. It says the difficulty is a property of the field, not of the prompt. What the number does not say is that models cannot generate research ideas. That is a different claim entirely, and this benchmark does not test it. It says something narrower and sharper. Given the exact inputs that preceded a specific discovery, a frontier model reproduces that discovery's core idea a small minority of the time. The obvious objection is that the true idea is one point in a large space of reasonable ideas, and a judge matching against a single target will call good alternatives wrong. The authors accept that. The benchmark measures recovery of one specific idea. It does not measure the quality of ideas in general. Then the same paper runs a second configuration, and this is where the result stops being a scoreboard. Instead of one model answering, several models propose hypotheses, review each other's, and iteratively filter. A Swiss tournament over aligned hypothesis slots, using a reference-only pipeline over the top 4. The match rate goes to roughly 23 to 42%. Against the best single model baseline, that is about a 2.4 times lift. Read the mechanism rather than the number. Nothing was added to the models. Same weights, same bibliographies, same judge. What changed is that wrong answers got filtered by other models before an answer was submitted, which suggests the limiting factor at 3 to 15% was not that the right hypothesis was never generated. It was that the model could not tell which of its own hypotheses was the right one. Generation and selection are separate abilities, and this benchmark separates them almost by accident. So, what is this a measurement of? Not intelligence, and not research capability in any general sense. It is a measurement of one very specific thing: whether the reasoning that connects a body of prior work to the next question is recoverable from that prior work alone. And the answer at the frontier is mostly no, then substantially more often yes once you add adversarial selection on top. 2 things follow. The first is a caution about every agentic research demo you have seen. If selection is the bottleneck rather than generation, then a single model asked to do novel work will look confident and be wrong at a rate that a highlight reel of its best output never shows. The second is a caution about this benchmark itself. 42% under a tournament is a strong result on a task built to be uncontaminable, and it is also one paper, one judge model, one grading rubric. Worth watching whether it replicates before anyone builds a claim on top of it.